Today we got 4 problems from easiest to hardest, but first I have a question. Is this correct? Or is this correct? That's right, you probably guessed it, we're doing order of operations, or PEMDAS, or my favorite, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Sorry, Sally's my dog's name, so I couldn't leave her out. Anyways, let's talk about how these problems actually work, and then when we solve them, I'll show you where most people make mistakes and how to avoid them. So order of operations. For this, we typically use the acronym PEMDAS, and we got 6 different things that we need to keep in order. First, we have parentheses. This isn't really an operation, but more of a way to group different parts of our expression. We want to do whatever the operations that are inside the parentheses first. All right, next we have exponents. If you don't know much about exponents, we'll talk about it a little bit more when we're solving the problems, but just know if you have exponents inside the problem, you're going to do that second after we take care of the parentheses. After that, we have multiplication and division. We're going to do whichever of these operations comes first in the problem. So we go from left to right. If I have 6 times 3 divided by 3, I'm going to multiply first. But if I have 6 divided by 3 times 3, then I'm going to divide first. And finally, we have addition and subtraction. These two work the same as multiplying and dividing. If I have 6 plus 3 minus 1, I'll add and then subtract. But if I have 6 minus 3 plus 1, I'll subtract and then add. Capiche? All right, let's go solve some of these problems. All right, everyone, before we get started on these problems, just wanted to let you know I had to re-record this first and second problem because something happened with my file, but we'll get through it. So if stuff doesn't match up with what I say when we go back to the third and fourth problem, that's why. Anyways, the first problem, we have 8 plus 3 times 4. So no parentheses, no exponents, but we do have some multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite this. 8 plus, and then 3 times 4 is 12. All right, we don't have any division. We do have addition. 8 plus 12. I'm even going to underline it just so we can show off our steps that we're taking. Again, 8 plus 12 is going to be 20. So our final answer should be 20, right? So even though we go from left to right in the problem, since multiplication comes before addition in our order of operations, we're going to do 3 times 4 before 8 plus 3. All right, let's scroll down. And we have our second one. So here again, we have no parentheses. We have no exponents. We have no multiplication, but we do have some division. So again, I'm going to underline it. I'm also going to underline my negative sign. So it's important that we underline this negative. Once we get to higher level algebras, keeping up with these negative signs is very important. So even though in this problem we could do 6 divided by 2 is 3 and then move down our negative sign, in higher level math that doesn't always work. So it's a good habit to get into to keep up with our signs that are in front of our numbers. Anyways, we got negative 6 divided by 2. So that's going to be negative 3 or minus 3. Then I'll just bring down my 16. We don't have any addition. We do have subtraction, and 16 minus 3 is going to be 13. Now, before we move on to the third problem, let's take a look at this. In our problem, we have 1 operation, 2 operations, and it took us 2 steps to solve this. So if you look how many operations are inside the problem to start with, it'll let you know how many steps you need to take in order to get your answer. So this can kind of help you if you're going back and double checking your work, like I know everybody does, because sometimes when we rewrite it like this, we can accidentally miss something or whatever. So if we're going back and checking, I can see I need 1 operation, 2 operations, so I should have 2 steps. Here's 1 step, here's 2 steps. All right, so let's go to the third problem, and hopefully the recording works from there. Here we do have parentheses. And if we count, we have 1, 2, and 3 operations. We should be solving 3 different things in order to get our answer. So again, we have parentheses first. So even though this is subtraction and we have a multiplication, we're going to do the parentheses first. So 12 minus 4 is 8. So if I rewrite this, 5 plus 8. After everything's done inside the parentheses, I'm just going to drop them. And then times 3. We don't have any exponents. We got some multiplication though. So 8 times 3 is 24. So again, we're going to rewrite this. 5 plus 24. And then our final step is going to be adding this. 5 plus 24 is going to be 29. All right, so just take our time with all of these, step by step. I really recommend that if you're multiplying, I've seen some students, count by 8 like this when they do multiplying instead of 8 times 3 in their head. Normally they do it when the numbers are a little bit higher. But if you have to do stuff like this, or maybe more in-depth addition or subtraction, I would recommend doing it off to the side instead of down here. Just keep this part nice and organized. The only thing that we want to write down there is our steps. So again, we got 29 for our answer. Let's go down to the very last one. It's got a lot more stuff going on. All right, here we go. So we got 20 minus 3 squared plus 4 times 6 minus 2. So again, parentheses is our first step. We'll do that. So we need to do 6 minus 2. So I'm going to rewrite all this junk. 20 minus 3 squared plus 4 times 6 minus 2 again is 4. So there we go. Our next step is 3 squared. Now, if you're not used to exponents, this just means 3 times itself twice. If we had 3 to the 4th power, we would be multiplying 3 by itself 4 times. All right. So again, let's underline this because this is our step. And then we can rewrite everything. So 20 minus 3 times 3. 3 by itself twice is 9. And then we'll rewrite everything else. There we go. Now we can keep going on with the progress. We got some multiplication, so we'll do that next. 4 times 4 is 16. So we got 20 minus 9 plus 16. And then we'll keep going. So again, here we go with our subtraction and addition. Even though addition comes first in our PEMDAS acronym, since subtraction comes first in our problem, we're actually going to do that first. So 20 minus 9 is 11. And then we got our final step of addition. So 11 plus 16 equals 27. And we're all done. So it looks like a lot, but you just got to take your time. I highly, highly, highly recommend not trying to do more than one step at a time, especially at the beginning. Sometimes that can mess with signs, can mess up the order that we're supposed to be doing things, the numbers that you're going to get, and all that kind of stuff. So even though it's a lot of stuff, just take your time, right? We have our steps. Then we go in, write them all out, and we get our answers. All right, I'm going to go scroll down and leave one for you to try. Leave your answer down in the comments. This may be a little much, but again, just follow each step, and I got full faith in you. Let me know what you get.